All right. Welcome to the Wholesale to Freedom channel. So, after talking to myself for about 20 minutes now, I realized I wasn't live, and we are now, so we should be good to go. So, come on, bring all your questions, and we'll get right into it. What's going on? Introduce yourself, ask any questions you want on wholesaling, anything related, and I'll be happy to answer it. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let me just announce this on Instagram because, like I said, I was talking to myself for 30 minutes. So, all right, we are live now, ready to rock and roll. Bring all your questions, live Q&A. I was talking to myself for 20 minutes, and now I got to figure it out. So, here we go. All right. So, how y'all's day going so far? In the process of organizing all my data. Hey, Maureen, how are you? In the process of organizing all my data right now. So it's been fun, interesting. Wi-Fi acting up. Is it my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi? Let me know. Let me adjust this lighting real quick. There we go. Should be able to see me better, a little bit better now. Yeah, so bring any questions you got. I'd be happy to answer them. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you all. And hope you're having a great day. Hope you guys have had a productive week. It's Friday and productive weekend. So going into the weekend strong. Let's do it. Let me make sure people know where to find the channel. Well, Maureen, if you have a question, be sure to ask it. And if your Wi-Fi is acting up and you can't get the answer right away, it will be recorded. So after this, it'll be posted and you can check it out. Other people's money, friends, fam, out of the questions, any suggestion? Yeah, so perfect question. Using other people's money is a great financial tool to get in the real estate, whether you're wholesaling or you're buying one of your wholesale deals. So, for those who don't know, OPM stands for other people's money. And one of the best places to start is with your friends and family. And if for whatever reason you're the only one on this path and you're kind of trying to create this new life for yourself, a lot of times that's not an option. So, that was like the same thing for me. And in that situation, what I would recommend is you get some experience first as far as handling money, one, and two, you go out there and you do a couple of deals, wholesale deals. And the reason why I say that, it's not necessary, you don't have to do that, but you want to be confident in your ability to perform, whether that's doing a wholesale deal, whether it's using other people's money, so that way you can have a track record, even if it's just one property. That way you can have the confidence to go in there and ask people, hey, what I like to do is I like to ask people an indirect question kind of directly to them. And so is what I mean by that is what I would do is I would say, hey, do you know anybody who might be interested in investing in real estate? I have an opportunity right now where I market out every month. I bring in X amount of leads, and it converts to X amount of dollars. So, and that's how I would present it. You can do that very indirectly, so that way you don't have that friction. If you ask somebody and they say no, and then they feel obligated to say yes or no, and then it's awkward after that, you don't have to worry about that. So that's a very good question. I would go to places like local real estate investors associations, RIAs, REIA. And what that is where you can meet up with other like-minded investors who are in real estate, who invest in real estate. And you got cash buyers, you have realtors, you have wholesalers, flippers, buy and hold investors. You got everybody there. And I mean, it's just a tremendous opportunity. It's like $20 to get in usually if you're not a member. And I mean, the networking just alone is what got me started in real estate. I met somebody who offered me a position through wholesaling through their company. And that's how I learned everything while getting paid. So it was like a paid internship, basically. So I would just, if you don't have any money or you want to find people with money, you got to go out there and network at these real estate meetings. That's one of the best ways to do it. Or you can get on biggerpockets.com and you create a free account. It's just like Facebook for investors. A ton of people, you wouldn't be amazed at how many people have money and they have no idea what to do with it. Maureen said, how do you wholesale with no money? What is the minimum dollars recommended? I would say if you could have around $100 a month to spend on your business, and this is like you could mow like 4 pieces of property. Like if you wanted to mow somebody's grass or shovel snow, or if you just want to run errands for somebody and make $100 a month, then, or you just save $100 a month, then you can not only have an investor carrot website, which is a $50 a month website that says we buy houses, and you can just have it up on the internet, and just, people will see that when they search for how do I sell my house. And the reason why I say that is because if you had watched my first video or one of my videos where it says I talk about my first deal, I made $65,000 off a $50 a month budget. So anything's possible. It's definitely not the ordinary results, but it's definitely possible. So with $100, you could spend $50 a month on that investor carrot. And then for the other 50 to extra $100, if you have 150, you can go and download Deal Machine. I have a link, and it'll be in the description of this video, and it's in the description of like all my videos. And you get free 15 deal credits, which is equal to 15 free mailers. And then what it is driving for dollars. And you drive or walk in a neighborhood, and you have properties that are distressed. You can look it up on this app, instantly send them a postcard, or you can skip trace them right then and there. And it's like 16 cents a skip trace or something. So that 15 free deal credits is going to be like over 50 skip traces for free. And you call that person up right there and say, hey, I see this property. I'm actually walking by it right now. Do you have any interest in selling? You can go. It's as simple as that. And they didn't have that when I got started. So driving for dollars is one way with minimum money, as well as having an investor carrot website. One's passive and one's active. I like the idea of both, but I definitely like active wholesaling, where you basically have, it depends on how much action you take is how many results you get. And so anything that's worth spending energy, then I would, invest in that right now starting out, because you can go as far as you want to, right? It doesn't depend on any systems or anything. It depends on how much you put in. And I have a video actually, Maureen, on my YouTube where it says how to find motivated sellers easy is the name of the video. And what it is I talk about the free way versus the paid way, the differences between the two, and the options that you can do. So I would definitely check that out. I go in very detail, and I think it would be a great resource for you. Any other questions? Yeah, great. I think those are great questions, Maureen. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm here for like another 20 minutes. So I'm here to help you guys and girls. Trying to let people know I'm live on YouTube because people are thinking I'm live on Instagram. Boop, boop, boop. Welcome to the channel. If you're just tuning in, any questions you have, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm here for like another 20 minutes, and I'm here for you all. So no questions are off the table, and I can answer them. Cash buyers, best way to find them. I actually have a video on that as well, but I'll mention a couple right here. So, cash buyers, one of the best ways to find them is to cold call realtors in the area that you're wholesaling and just ask them. Say, hey, my partner and I are a group of investors. We buy it and fix and flip properties all the time, but we have too many on our hands right now. And so we're wondering if you work with any cash buyers who may be interested in off market properties. And one or two things are going to happen. They're going to say no, or they're going to say it's a scam and they hang up, or they don't know, or they're going to say, yeah, I do have some people interested. What's the details? Just say, hey, okay, well, what's a good email address for you where we can send the details over to you, because it would be too much to talk about over the phone. And they'll just give you the email address. You add them to your buyers list. They bring a buyer, and then you guys can talk about what's a fair arrangement for them bringing a buyer. Easy as that. That's the best way to find cash buyers when you're starting out. Or you can create a ghost ad on Craigslist. That's a distressed property for a ridiculously good price, and just say all cash buyers, looking for cash buyers, yada yada yada, and you get a ton of cash buyers that way. And you want to say, whenever they call, just say, hey, that property that you're calling about is actually, under contract right now. But if anything falls through, what's a good email address for you? That way you don't seem like you're trying to be sneaky about it, and you can keep them, wanting more. I live in SoCal and all the houses are over 500,000. Should I try doing it virtually somewhere else? So what I always recommend is, if you can try doing it in your own backyard, that's always best, but virtually is definitely an option. I started out local, and I moved into doing virtual, and I actually like virtual a lot better. And I even do virtual in my own backyard. So virtual means you can just, you don't have to go out to the property. You can do everything behind your computer or desk. And so, I mean, I would do virtual in your own backyard if you can, but if you can't, then maybe try to find a town that's within an hour, a half hour, that maybe is cheaper, that you could do this in virtually. And if you needed to, you could drive to it, take pictures if you needed to, things like that. So that was a great question, Willie. And I hope that answers your question. So for those who are just tuning in, welcome, welcome. Ask any questions. I'm here to answer them. Also, be sure to give this a thumbs up if it's helped you at all, as it does help the channel, and it helps me help you guys. When you open escrow, do you call the title company and tell them you have a property under contract? And do you tell them that you're wholesaling right away, or when you have the assignment contract? So what I would do with the title company is I would actually be very upfront about your intentions right away, because it doesn't really matter to the title company what you do. The reason why we want to be transparent with them is because they're going to be the ones handling the transaction. So if you don't want any surprises, you don't want to give them any surprises. So right up front, I say, hey, and I have a video on this on how to filter title companies, but I let them know, I'm like, hey, we have properties that we have under contract. We're looking to assign a couple of them. Do you guys do assignments? And if they say yes, then so, okay, great. I have a property that's under contract right now. Can I send you over the purchase and sale that we're going to plan on assigning? And then you can do it that way. But if you're wanting to buy it yourself and you ended up wholesaling, just say, hey, we were going to buy this ourselves, but we're actually looking to wholesale it now because we got a better deal on the table. And that way you make it like you're not wasting their time, or you're not trying to confuse them or anything like that. But you want to make sure that they can, one, do assignments, that they know what that is, because a lot of people don't. And also you want to make sure they can do a double close if you need to, using the end buyer's funds. So that way you don't have to find the funds to purchase the property up front to resell it on the same day. And again, I have that all in my video. It tells you pinpoint exactly what to say and how to say it. Some really great questions, guys and girls. Really great questions. Anybody got some big plans for the weekend? Going out, putting in some work, or celebrating, just chilling, whatever? I wish I could have some music in the background or something, but I think that's against YouTube's policy, so I don't know if we'll be able to do that. On closings, do they wire the money to your bank? Yeah, so some title companies, I just experienced this actually, and I'm glad you brought that up. Some title companies, they only do one or the other. So what they'll do is they'll either mail you the check first class overnight or whatever, and then they'll also deposit, or they can do a wire deposit into your account. So I like to do the wires because it's a lot quicker. However, I also like the checks because I like to take pictures of them, put them on my wall to kind of motivate me. And it's not the same as taking a screenshot of your wire transfer. So for me, I kind of like the checks, but I've run into nothing but problems in these last couple months with checks because every time I have them send it to me, they either send it to the wrong address or they, for some reason, it just takes longer than what they like, forget to send it out the same day, or and I really like to have that money in my account as soon as possible so that way there's no gray area, or you don't lose the check. Things like anything could happen. But for that reason, I like to do the wire as well. Do you feel like wholesaling has become too saturated this year, or is it still a good source of income despite a lot of people trying to do it? I think anything in life that has the opportunity and the value that this like this business can bring, so e-commerce, Amazon fulfillment, or Amazon having your own Amazon store, wholesaling, buy and hold, everything under the table, whether you're playing poker or whatever, you know what I mean? It when you get into something, it becomes more popular and people get, they test the waters with it. But I wouldn't say it's too saturated. I would definitely say it's gotten more saturated just because of people like Kong and all these big TikTokers and Instagram people, because they make it more known to the marketplace. So a lot of people are saying that they're wholesalers, but they're not really taking any action. And I think while we do have more people in the business, I don't think a lot of them are actually doing anything. And especially this year more than ever, I think a lot of more people are falling out of the business because, I mean, it's a lot harder to find a deal right now because the market's so hot. So people can sell their broken homes for top dollar in a lot of markets. And I think for that reason, even the big guys, they're seeing less returns, and they're actually spending less money on advertising because they're not seeing that return on investment. So I think it's still a great source of income despite people, trying to do it, because the opportunity is always there. And it doesn't matter how many people get into it. It matters who's the last person standing. So it doesn't matter how strong you are, how fast you are. It depends on how long you can endure and who the strong, the person who can endure the longest is going to be the winner in anything that you do. So I think the opportunity is always there for those who are willing to take it. Double closing on how you do double closing. How do you use cash buyers' money to fund it? So that's where it comes down to having a title company that can process all that. So all these intricate questions, all these questions that are hard to determine or figure out beforehand when it comes to the transaction, that's why it's important to find that investor-friendly title company, like I said in that one video I have, because they're going to make your job easy. They're going to explain everything to you if you ask them. They're going to keep you updated. Also, they're going to just handle all that hard stuff. So if you ask them, hey, do you guys do a double closing using the end buyer's funds to process the entire transaction, they're going to know right away what that means, and they're going to say yes, or they're not, and then you're going to be kind of hesitant to work with them. So what they do is, in closing, they're going to have the end buyer who pays your assignment price, so the higher price than the contract price, and then they'll use all of that money to fund the entire transaction from the original purchase. Let's say $100,000 is what you have the contract for. You're selling it for 120. The end buyer is going to bring 120 to the table. The title company is going to take that 100, pay the seller, and then the other 20 is going to go in your pocket. So that's what it means by using the end buyer's funds to purchase a transaction. If they don't do that, or if you don't have a title company in your area that does that, typically what you have to do is bring your own money for the A to B transaction. And for the B to C, the buyer will bring those funds as well. So even though they're bringing enough to pay for the entire transaction, some title companies are not comfortable with that, because if the buyer doesn't show up, then the title company can look bad in that aspect. And like Pujita said about a lot of people getting into this business, a lot of people are ruining this business because they don't know how to handle things, or they don't know how to communicate, and a lot of people are getting burned. Now we have laws being put into place, and so they're regulating it. And I think that's just what like you said, the exposure that this business is getting. And so I got a feeling in the next 10 to 20 years, we'll be seeing a lot of regulations as far as wholesaling goes. But I just think that creates more opportunity, just like anything else, for those who stick with it. Are taking them down and flipping them. School me. I'm not sure what you're asking by that. Are you taking them down and flipping them? Willie said, in your opinion, what do you think is the best way to find leads that work for you? I think when you're starting out, it depends on if you're starting out or if you have money to invest. If you're starting out, I think anything that involves you taking action and spending time and energy is the best way, because it's the most cost efficient method. It's going to be the best way to find leads. So door knocking, driving for dollars, going to actually those two right there, I think are the two best. Or you can go to real estate meetings and find other wholesalers who maybe are having issues finding buyers, and do it that way too. You can always do JVs. I think those are the best ways. If I'm wholesaling virtually, after I get a house under contract, what title company do I send it to? Do I send the paperwork to my title company in my state, or to a title company in the market? So what you do is you send it to a title company that's in the same state, because it depends on where the property is that's where the closing usually is going to take place. So if the property resides, let's say, in the state of Maryland, and you're in California, the closing is going to take place in Maryland, and the title company there is going to be the one handling it, because all the laws in the states are different. And so you want a title company that's local to that property, because the property taxes are paid in that state. And that's where they handle all those kind of funds and expenses and things, where they got to calculate the closing cost. And that's why they do it in state of the subject property. Good question. Antonio Edwards, would offering a seller faster closing give you room to negotiate that price? Absolutely. And this is actually something I talk about in a couple of my videos. Is I renegotiated a property because maybe the repairs were too much or more than what the seller said, or the buyers, they told me that the property wasn't as worth as much, because my research, is on a street by street basis, and I didn't know. So I definitely say, we can close in 7 days, but we have to have it at like 10 grand cheaper. I only do that though when I have a buyer in place who's ready to go, and they're solid, and they already have the deposit down at the title company. So use that with a word of caution, because you don't want to be that wholesaler that's causing all these problems that guarantee anything. You want to under promise and over deliver. So I would never say, we're gonna close in 7 days guaranteed. I would say we're gonna try to close. Does that make sense, Antonio? Thanks so much. Hey, no problem, Victor. I hope that answered your question. You guys are asking some really great questions, actually. So keep them coming. Actually, pretty happy with these questions. I got about 5 minutes here before I head out. Also, I'm going to be trying to do this live every week at 1 o'clock on Fridays, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I think I'm going to put it in my banner in my YouTube channel, so that way it's official, because I've seen a lot of great results from this. So a lot of people are getting helped, a lot of exposure as well. So if you guys know anybody who would benefit from a video like this, let me know, or let them know, and share the channel if you can. Yes, sir. Thanks. No problem. Yeah. What other questions do you all have? No questions? Got 4 minutes here before you should help with deal analyzing. What do you mean by that? Do you have any advice on how to approach getting into the wholesaling scene? Yeah, so I have a video on my channel where I talk about how I got started. It's just one of the ways you can get started, and I mentioned it a couple times. It's going to a real estate investors association meeting, and what they do is typically in every state, in every city, most cities, they have a real estate investors association. You can Google it, REIA, and there's a good possibility that you have one in your city, and just go to it. It's going to be intimidating because these are going to be a lot of investors, flippers, buy and hold guys, people with money. It's going to be intimidating. But if you can get outside your comfort zone and go out there and just introduce yourself, tell them you're trying to get into the game of real estate, you look stuff up, you're learning, and just be a sociable person and be a positive person, you might have an opportunity present itself where people offer you a position working for them or learning from them, like an internship where you do a couple errands for them. In exchange, they teach you the industry. I mean, right now, you're going to invest in trying to get as much hands-on knowledge as possible when you're getting into this, because what will happen is you'll go into the research phase where you're trying to figure out everything about the business and you're never going to get there. It's called analysis paralysis, and you don't want to end up in that position. You want to do some research, but then you want to take action on it. So I have a ton of videos on my channel where I talk about where to start, how to do things, and how to leverage your time or energy or money to get you deals. You should help with deal analyzing. See if it's a good deal and a potential worth, stuff like that. Oh, okay. Like analyze your guys' deals. Definitely be into doing that. What experimenting with a new market do you send a decent amount of marketing when experimenting with a new market? That's a good question. So I like to be in a market for no longer than 3 months if I don't see any results. And I have to be actively marketing each month to give myself a chance to try that new market. But typically, I like to be in an uptrend market where the market's been growing for the last 6 to 12 months and it's got a decent population base, but not too big. Like Phoenix, unless you live there, I would not suggest going there because I think it's over 1 million people, and that's ridiculous. Do you recommend going on market for people that don't have a marketing budget? Like listed properties, Victor, if that's what you're talking about, you can definitely do that. But you got to remember, whenever you're going on market, you're going to have a lot more people seeing that property. So chances are, if there's any savvy wholesalers or investors in your area, which more than likely there are, then they're going to see that property as soon as it hits the MLS. Plus, by talking to realtors, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to have people that are in their pocket and they do what's called pocket listing. So before it even hits the MLS, these realtors who've already built relationships with these investors, they send them the deal before it hits the MLS. And if they don't want it within 24 hours, then they list it. So really, the only thing that gets put on the market are things that are not great deals, usually. Now, there's some that fall between the cracks and you can get a hold of them. So it's definitely worth looking into. But I would actually look into for sale by owners on Zillow because they're free, or for sale by owners on Craigslist because they're free as well. Those are free lead sources right there for you. I'm currently 16 and I want to step my foot into this business, so that's why I'm asking on how I should approach this. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And because you're underage, you're not going to be able to legally sign any documents. You're going to have an adult or a guardian sign with you. So going to these real estate meetings, like I said, are going to be one of the best ways to do it, because you can say, hey, I'm 16 and I have a couple deals I'm looking into, or I want to do a couple deals, but I can't legally sign. Didn't know if maybe I could bring you a deal, a bird dog you a deal, which you just bring them a deal basically. And if you guys close on it, I can just walk through the whole process with you. And if you think it's worth me getting paid, then obviously I get paid, but whatever you think's fair. See if it's a good deal with potential stuff. Bird dogging. Oh, she was answering your question, bird dogging. Yep, that's exactly right. You can bird dog for other companies. And all you have to do is go around looking for properties. You don't have to be 18 to negotiate the seller, to call them up, contact them, do everything else. You just have to be 18 to uh, sign the papers. And you can have your parents do that. If you have an uncle, relative that's over 18, now remember, they're going to be legally responsible. And I'm not an attorney, so you should look into that, whatever you're signing. But you have to have an adult sign. So you want to have a bulletproof contract one, which I have a free download in some of my most recent videos and my description. You can check that out. Also on my Instagram, you can find my free downloads for the contract as well. Can I start bird dogging for you? I'll do it for free. I just want to learn from you. Hey, I really appreciate that. Victor, are you the one from California? I don't think you're the one from California, no. Well, it depends. If I'm in that market, I might consider it, but if I'm not in the market, probably not. Just because bird dogging is a great place to start with somebody in your local market, but if for me, it wouldn't make too much sense. Now, from Jersey, that's a good market. I've heard a couple of people do wholesale deals there. So maybe go out to those real estate meetings and just say, hey, I'm looking to leverage my time, my energy. I want to learn this business, whatever it may be. I want to learn, how to close deals. I want to walk through the deals with you. In exchange, I'll walk these streets or I'll drive these streets and I will find you properties that are distressed, refer them to you, whatever it may be. Remember, the world is yours and the opportunity is there if you want to take it. And somebody will see the hustle and the grit there, and they'll take that opportunity. Now, don't go just one time to the real estate meetings, because these people are always going. And so if they see you one time and you never come back, you're going to be like 99% of the other people that show up there. I can't tell you how important it was whenever I started going and I would see all these new people that were new just like me, and I felt common ground with them. I was like, hey, let's stick through it together. I'd show up and none of them ever showed up the next meeting. And a lot of the older guys there were like, hey, you're the only one that's been here for 6 months, just want to say that's pretty cool. And I was like, oh yeah, so that's something to consider. A lot of people take notice of that. Are those real estate meetings open to the public? Yes. You can go to them. If they ask you if you're 18 and you're not, you can just say, yeah, pay the guest fee. And so that way you can get in, or bring an adult if they have a real problem. But if anybody sees somebody at 16 there, they're going to be very impressed. I'm not, everybody wants to see an underdog, a younger guy. They want to see you win, or girl. They want to see you win. And that's how it is. They want to help people who are wanting to change their life. And you got to be careful. I have a video on how to find a right mentor. And you make sure you don't take advice from everybody, just anybody. You want to take all the advice you can and filter that advice. You don't want to just take everything they say as concrete, right? Even the stuff I'm saying, take what you like and use it. If you don't like what I'm saying, then don't use it. And if it doesn't align with your core values or how you feel internally, then, do what you want with it. But you got to be very cautious on who you take advice from. So, all right. Well, again, these were really great questions. I'm going to leave it open here for about 1 more minute. And if I don't have any questions, then I'll go ahead and hop off. But yeah, I think the real estate meetings, for a lot of the questions that were asked in here, are going to be very beneficial for you all, because of the potential of not only networking, but finding somebody who's going to offer that advice and experience and opportunity to you. Again, go on biggerpockets.com, biggerpockets.com. Create an account. It's free. Network on there. Introduce yourself to your area. Say, I'm a new investor looking to get into this business. I wanted to network with some people, maybe buy them lunch. No matter how rich you are, how much money you have, people love food. And this is something a millionaire taught me. He said, people love food. And if you can go out and buy them food, pick their brain. Have a list of questions ready to ask them and pick their brain. And it never hurts to buy them a $5 sandwich for $1 million worth of advice or knowledge. I have been wholesaling for 6 months and haven't gotten a deal. I tried everything and still can't get a deal. I'm still not going to quit, but I would love to work for you to learn more. Victor, and I really appreciate that. I think that's I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity that you present there. But right now in my business, I don't have anywhere that I could hire out like that. So I think the best thing for you would be to try to find somebody in your local market, like I said, and network with them. Network, network, network. And as always, join my Q&As every week. Ask any questions you didn't get answered there to me, and I'll be happy to answer them. And it took me 9 months of $50 a month to find my first deal. So it's not, a lot of people, they get into this because they're competitive and they want to get a deal in their first 6 months. They see these videos of guys who are landing six figures, whatever. Even me, when I landed my 65K deal in 9 months, there's a lot of work that goes behind that and a lot of action you have to take. And nobody really cares that it took me 9 months, or even Kong, who it took 18 years to get where he's at. People don't see that. It's like the iceberg picture you always see. They always see the tip of the iceberg, but they never see that ginormous thing underneath the water. And that's all your struggles, the action you took, the failures. People don't care about that. They only see the success. Have that long-term mindset and look at it like, hey, if I don't get a deal in 6 months, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I'll do it as long as it takes to get where I need to be, because I've seen that it's proven and I know that's true. And once you see it and once you believe it, then it'll happen. A lot of people say, well, once I see it, then I'll believe it. But you got to believe it first, and then you'll see it. Should you analyze the property before talking to the seller or agent? The only reason why we talk to the seller on the first phone call, because I break it into 2 phone calls, the research phone call or the filter phone call, to make sure they're, 1, motivated, 2, I can get the property details, and then I do my research unless all the information's on the Zillow or anything like that. But sometimes it's not accurate, so that's why I call them anyways, in the sense of the motivation. So once you get all that, then you want to do your research, and then if it makes sense, make the offer. Even if it doesn't make sense, it's always good to make the offer. 1, to get the experience. 2, you might get the deal. And I've actually offered 80 grand less than a property that was listed, and I got accepted multiple times. Perfect. Well, I got to head out here, guys and girls. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the feedback. Again, smash that thumbs up if this has provided any value to you. I appreciate you coming here, supporting the channel, and I'm going to do this every week, and I'm going to put it in my banner so that way it's official. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. And as always, I got a new video up every Tuesday. Share with your friends, like it, comment. I love hearing your comments, success stories, and even their struggles, so that way I can help you through them and provide you guys some value absolutely free. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great week and a safe weekend, and with everything going on. So thank you.